Piper's week 3 video recap. So we're starting out with just a little bit of play using the flirt pole. So as a reminder, when we are playing with our puppies with the flirt pole, I don't want to lift them up off the ground or drag them across the floor while they're in possession of that toy. I'll just put some gentle opposition on the flirt pole, play a gentle game of tug, and then I do like to also handle my puppies as well while they're in possession of that toy. Good job, Piper. Get it, get it. Oh my goodness, you're such a happy girl. Yeah, you're such a happy girl. Good job. Good job. Oh, get it. Oh my goodness. So I'll let her chase it for a minute before I let her catch it, and then again we'll play a gentle game of tug. What a good girl. And then once I get this back from her again, we'll get started here. Yeah, good girl. Okay. So the first thing that we're going to do is charge our clicker. We've been doing this at the beginning of each training session. Just as a reminder, when we are charging our clicker, we're not actually asking Piper for any behaviors. We just want to make sure that she has a really solid association between hearing the click and getting a piece of food. So we'll do this maybe like 3 times before we get started here. Good job. And then we're going to move right into reviewing our food luring exercise. So the goal with this is that I want the puppies following my hand, staying connected to that piece of food while we move here. And then I've also been pairing this with her name just to start to work on some name recognition. Piper. Piper. Good girl. And I like to practice this with both hands. Piper. Piper. What a good girl. So we've been working on introducing Piper to wearing a collar and leash, so I'm going to get that now. And then once I get this on her, we're just going to do that food luring exercise again. So I already have my collar connected to my leash. It's just one less thing I have to do once I get it on Piper here. I'm going to get her interested in a piece of food and drop it on the floor so she's eating the food off the floor while I get this collar on her. What a good girl. You didn't eat it, it's right here. And then again, we're just going to review that food luring exercise again. Piper. Piper. Good girl. And again, practicing with both hands. Piper. Piper. Good job. I've also been practicing hand targets with Piper this week while she's wearing this leash and collar. So our goal for this week is to be able to put our hand out flat and cue our dogs to touch, and then they'll come and target our hand with their snout. So I am going to start with a few repetitions where I do have that food lure in my hand, and then we'll move on to doing it without that food. Piper, touch. Good girl. Piper, touch. Nice work. Okay, I'm going to try one without a food lure. So I'm still going to mark and reward after she does it. Piper, touch. Good puppy. And then I'm going to switch hands. So I'm going to go back to using a food lure for a repetition or 2. Piper, touch. What a smart girl. Piper, touch. Good girl. So there I didn't have food in my hand, still marking and rewarding after she does the behavior. Piper, touch. What a smart girl. Here's your snacky. Good girl. Okay. And then when I'm ready to take this collar and leash off, again, I'm going to get her interested in a piece of food. So that way she's busy licking that food while I find the buckle on the collar. What a good girl, Piper. Okay. We've been continuing to work on sits this week. So our goal in week 3 is that I'm able to just verbally cue Piper to sit and that she will do the behavior without having to use a food lure. So let me take a piece of food as a reset here. Go get it. Piper, sit. Good girl. Okay, so giving her a follow-up cookie or two for maintaining that sit position. Okay, we'll do that again. Oh, you're quick. Go get it. Piper, sit. Good girl. Nice work. Okay. Oh my goodness, Piper. Go get it. I'll try that one more time here. Piper, sit. Good girl. Okay. And then for our downs this week, we're going to be doing a similar thing here. So I want to be able to just verbally cue Piper to go into a down. And I want to see if she'll do it without me having to use a hand signal or a food lure. I'll give her a few seconds to kind of like try to figure it out on her own before I go in and maybe point to the floor here. But in week 3, again, the goal is to be able to just have her do that down on just a verbal command. Okay. Piper, down. What a smart puppy. So again, giving her follow-up cookies just like we were doing for our sits. Okay. Piper, down. Good girl. What a smart puppy. Okay, we'll do one more here. Piper, down. Good girl. So again, just making sure I give her a few seconds to try to figure it out before I go in and help her. And kind of see the wheels turning while she's figuring it out on her own. What a good girl. Okay, nice work, Piper. We've been continuing to work on our mat skill this week as well. So our goal in week 3 after I put the mat down is that I'm able to cue Piper to go to her mat and she'll settle into a nice down position. The new thing that we've added this week is adding a little bit of distance, meaning I'm able to take a few steps away from her while she maintains that down position on the mat. Piper, go to your mat. So taking just a few steps away, coming back in, marking and rewarding again, stepping away in a different direction, and then maybe practicing turning my back to her as well. Okay, using that release cue to let her off the mat. Piper, go to your mat. So if she starts to play with it, I'm just going to step on it and then maybe help her get into position. There we go. Okay, we'll do that one more time here. Piper, go to your mat. So waiting her out, see if she's going to offer me that down. There it is. What a smart girl. So making sure I walk away in different directions. Want to start to teach her that no matter where I am in relation to her, I want her to stay in that down position on the mat. What a smart girl. Okay. Good work, Piper. All right. We've been continuing to play our flying cookie game to start to work on some name recognition. So in week 3, when I toss that reset cookie and Piper goes after it, I'm going to move where I am just so it's a little bit less predictable when I call her back to me. Go get it. Piper. So clicking as soon as she turns in response to her name, and then rewarding her when she comes back to me. Go get it. Piper. Good girl. What a smart puppy. Go get it. Piper. We'll do one more here. Go get it. Piper. Nice work. What a smart puppy. Yeah. Good girl. been continuing to play our crate games this week as well. So in week 3, the goal is that I want to be able to shut the crate door and start to add some distance and duration, meaning I'm able to move away from the crate while Piper continues to offer calm behavior while she's in it. Piper, crate. So clicking and rewarding for all 4 paws in, clicking and rewarding after I shut that door again, and then taking some steps away, turning my back to her. And then as long as she continues to show calm behavior in the crate, I'll come back in and reward her. Then I'll walk away in a different direction. And then when I'm ready to let her out of the crate, I'm still going to meet her at the threshold with a piece of food and use that release cue to let her out. Okay, good job, Piper. We'll run through that again. Piper, crate. Good girl. Nice work, Piper. So again, meeting her at the threshold with a piece of food. Okay, we'll run through that one last time here. Piper, crate. Okay, nice work, Piper. In week 3, we started to introduce Piper to grooming tools that make sound. So this week I'm going to be using a nail Dremel. The goal of this exercise is that I want her to have a neutral to positive response to hearing the grooming tool. So she can certainly be interested in the noise that it makes. I just don't want to see that she's overly concerned about it. So the way that this is going to work is I'm going to bring the nail Dremel out. I'm going to start with it at my side. When the nail Dremel turns on, that's when food is going to start. So I'll drop food 1 piece at a time on the floor. When the Dremel shuts off, food will stop. I'll toss a reset cookie. And then once Piper makes her way back to me, then we'll repeat that process. So my nail Dremel is fairly quiet. I'm starting with it at my side. You just want to keep in mind that if you're using a really loud tool, you do want to start with it behind your back to muffle that sound a little bit. So let me get my food here. So starting with it at my side, turns on, food starts, 1 piece at a time. Dremel shuts off, food stops. Go get it. Tossing that reset for Piper there. And then when she makes her way back, we'll do that again. So I have it a little bit closer to her this time. Okay, Dremel stops, food shuts off. Go get it. And then we'll do that one last time, except this time I'm going to have it on the floor. Okay, Dremel shuts off, food stops. Go get it. Good work, Piper. We've been continuing to work on some body handling this week as well. So for our restraint holds, we're adding a second hand into the mix. So one hand will go under her belly, the other hand or arm will go around her neck. And I'm just going to hold it there for a brief moment. I just want her to get used to having that arm around her neck. So one hand under the belly, and the other around the neck. Yes, good girl. Marking with that yes, and then giving her that piece of food. We'll do that again. Yes, good puppy. Then continuing to handle her tail in preparation for when she has to have her temperature taken. So for this, I'm not pulling at her tail, I'm just gently lifting it, applying some gentle pressure, and holding it there for a few moments. Yes, good girl. What a good puppy. We'll do that again. Yes, good girl, Piper. This week with her paws, I'm working on isolating one toe in preparation for a nail trim. So when I lift up one of those paws, I'm just going to take a moment to isolate one of those toes and find the nail. Yes, good girl. We'll do that on the hind leg here. Yes, good job, Piper. And then we'll do the other legs. Yes, nice work, Piper. Yes, good girl. We've been continuing to handle her face a little bit as well, so her eyes, her ears, and her mouth. So for her ears, I'm just going to flip each of them back and take a good look inside. You want to sit down for this part? Oh my goodness, okay. Hi. Yes, good girl. For her eyes, I'm just gently lifting up those eyelids so I can get a good look. Yes. Good. Yes, good job, Piper. And then for her mouth, I'm just lifting up the lips on both sides so I can get a good look at her gums. Yes, good girl. Let me just get the other side here. Yes, nice job. That is it for Piper's Week 3 video recap. Make sure that you're looking at your video library as well as your handouts. Those will give you much more detailed information on everything we've been working on with Piper in Week 3. Good job.